Hello friends, I welcome you to this new session on basic course of real estate project registration in Maharera. We started the session on 10th of June 2024 and we will be ending after 22 sessions. Today you have a presenter who will take up the issues and then a question answer will be there at the end. This session we had to organize because we were receiving a lot of requests across India from the chartered accountant who want to enter into the new area of practice to start this basic course so that they can enter into the advanced courses. We have conducted n number of advanced RERA courses, number of books on RERA has been done, and cooperatives, redevelopment, GST, income tax, NPO, cooperatives, so many programs have been done. So this is the opportunity for you to comment, give us the suggestion so that we can do the course. Similarly, we are also agreed to take up so many courses physical at different places, residential programs. So whatever you want, if we get more than 20 to 25 participants, we will be happy to host that program. Our aim is to empower each one of you to enter into area of practice, and wherever you get difficulties, we are there to help you.
Any kind of question, like I mentioned earlier, if you all have, you all can definitely ask us in the chat box. Hello all, and a very good evening to each one of you all. And in today's topic, so we had completed till our 8th session, and today we are combining our remaining the next 3 sessions together. The 9th, 10th, and 11th session we are combining together because they are very much similar to each other. And I'll just brief you about the topics, and then I'll introduce our experts who will be taking us through the topic. So the topic which we are going to discuss today is the drafting of an internal SOP with list of activities to be done and personal responsible to provide or attend each and every sub activities. Then list down the activities, listing of the activities to reach to the client and obtain the assignment. That is how to procure new clients in RERA. If you are practicing RERA, how do you acquire new clients? If there are existing clients also, how do you keep on following up with them so that there's a good relation which is maintained with the clients? And lastly is the estimated fees and the quotation format, engagement letter, terms of payment, to ensure that again the client relation is maintained in a very good manner and there is regular follow-up, and the client also feels that they are attended to at every and each regular intervals. So with this, begin with our session today. But I'll introduce a panelist who are going to take over the session today. We have with us CA Pinky Bhosle all the way from Bangalore, Karnataka, and she has been into RERA since the inception, and she has been practicing in RERA since a long time. So there should not be any no other person is as fit for this kind of a session because she has been into RERA since a long time. So she can give a deep insight as to how do you acquire new clients and how do you keep on maintaining a relation with clients. Along with that, we have CA Kunal Modi also, who has been practicing in Vasai area, and he is also into RERA and has been delivering lectures on RERA registration and various other topics related to RERA, offline as well as online. So with this, Pinky ma'am, if you can just brief us about what the whole topic is and how to go ahead with this today's session, like what all are we going to learn today in the session?
Shreyas, first of all, thank you so much for that introduction. So, yes, as Shreyas said, I am from Bangalore, Karnataka, and I have been practicing here, but very closely, you know, working also with other associates who are into Maharera as well, right? So, of course, that's how I know a bit about Maharera, but of course, the practice remains the same across the states, right? So, what we would want to talk about today or share is our experiences. So I think we would want to keep it more of a sharing of experience with the beginners, maybe, right? So we probably say how did we start acquiring clients, or what are the mistakes that we did, or how do we guide them all through acquisition of clients, and of course how do we maintain once the clients have come. So we probably want to bring about to say that let's not look at it only as a RERA practice, but it is how you can give a holistic services in this industry, Okay, so that is how the clients are going to stick with you throughout that entire project journey, because once a project starts, it will easily go up for about 3 years or so. So you need to, make that client stay with you for that period of time, right? So what are the other services that associated with RERA that we are able to also provide, right? So that is one. And how do we go about approaching clients, and what could be those checklists, or how do you have these engagement letters with them? And the other thing is could also be about the challenges that we are all going to be facing in this entire year. So that is what we would want to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. And Kunal, can you also give a brief introduction about the whole topic? And just one more thing, if during the whole session you all have any kind of question, because Pinky ma'am said, this is not more of an academic kind of a session. This is more of a interactive kind of a session, wherein whatever their experiences in this industry, they will be providing that. So if any kind of question is related to how to procure clients, or any kind of queries are there, you can definitely ask in the chat box. I will keep on asking in the meantime to both the experts. Yes, Kunal, before we begin with the session, just a brief intro about the whole topic and how do you look at it about procuring clients and the engagement letter and everything?
Basically, getting new clients is a very difficult task in this whole industry, because real estate was it's a very basic necessity of the whole community as a whole. So everyone, there were real estate clients with every CA. Those who have not yet started RERA practice, they are trying to start, or maybe they are outsourcing it. So basically, we will have to find out clients. Like we can get clients in 2 to 3 manners. Like one is for the RERA registration, or maybe they are themselves doing it RERA registration, or maybe they can come up for extension part, or there will be some consultations required during the agreement drafting itself. So at that point of time, we can introduce ourselves as RERA practitioners, or we can give them the service and the whole overview of how RERA is working and how they can get benefited due to the RERA part.
Of course. Like I think so, Kunal said that a holistic approach should be there, and even Pinky have said a holistic approach should be, we should ensure that it is done. Because if we show that to the client that we know the subject very well, and we have to show it to the client that we have the knowledge and experience of this subject, only then the client will like to stick with you and, keep you in the loop regarding any kind of transaction, any kind of dealings, or any kind of query which they have. You should show that to them that you all are just a one simple call away, and any kind of queries are there, you will be able to answer them. So if that kind of confidence, if we can give, that itself is a very big first step in this procuring clients and maintaining a client relation. So with this, I think so we have got a brief introduction about the whole topic today, which we are going to discuss. So with this, I hand over the mic to Pinky ma'am.
Not any big presentation that I have, maybe a couple of samples that I just
Sure,
want
sure.
to show what I am following in our practice,
Definitely.
right? So I think the first and foremost thing that I would want to say is how do we go about, acquiring these clients, right? First is the biggest challenge that we have is we know apart from real big builders, the rest would all be slightly unorganized or mostly unorganized, right? So to get that discipline in them and to say this is what is required, not just for RERA, but for the other statutes also, that itself is going to be a challenge. So when you see it as a challenge, it is also an opportunity, because that is the place where you can showcase your expertise and say that I am here who can help you with all the other statutes as well. So the first thing that you can start acquiring clients is one is in your known circle, because not everybody is a real estate expert, right? So you can go about saying that this is one area of your expertise and this is your specialization, right? So it's okay to say even among your CA friends, saying that this is my specialization, and most of the references will start coming in from there. It could be more of a collaboration that you can do with these kind of these peers of yours. Okay, so that is one way. So in your known circle, let people know that you are into this kind of this specialization, right? Second is mostly is to attend whenever possible all kinds of seminars and the webinars. Okay, so there could be a lot of seminars and webinars related to real estate, so that will help you build knowledge and confidence when you talk to your prospective clients. So probably when you're talking to them, you will give out those small instances or those tips, so that then they know that yes, you know the subject very well. Okay, so attend as many seminars and webinars possible, or the courses around, because we all know that there's an ICI course also related to real estate laws. We have all attended those certificate courses. So you can also probably attend them, so that you get more knowledge around it. So that is one. And even if it is not real estate related, if you want to do a little more networking and say that you are an expert into this, attend all the other unrelated seminars also if time permits, so that you can go around, exchange cards, and you tell them that this is what you know. Okay. Third thing is, it's very important. I know all of us are very eager to say, I will do income tax, I will do GST, I will do so many other things. But what is going to make you stand out is to say that I'm a RERA expert. Even if you have one client, it's okay. So let's say I'm a RERA expert, right? So that is going to give you a little more traction than just saying I do whole lot of things. So specialization is something that you have to emphasis on and bring that out, to get more clients, right? So other thing what I feel you can also do is get into some kind of a collaboration with other professionals. Okay, it could be with lawyers, anybody who is related to real estate, right? So that could be company secretaries also. There's a good amount of flow work that can come in from them. It could be lawyers, it could be engineers and architects as well, right? Maybe real estate agents can also probably help you connect to some amount, good amount of builders, because they have a very good reach with multiple builders, right? So collaboration is something that is really going to help all of us. And if not partnership, collaboration is something that we should work on, right? So good amount of work is going to come from them. They will refer you. Once one work really goes well, they will refer you for the other the work. So that is definitely the key, right? And another thing that we can all start doing is, I know as chartered accountants, we are not very good at marketing ourselves or saying what you are good at, but you will have to do that, of course, within the code of ethics that we are all expected to follow, right? So maybe at some points, if you can attend certain builder expos, go to a place where there are a lot of builders coming, be associated with certain builder associations. So anything that permits within our code of ethics is something that you can all go about with. So that's my take on getting new clients.
Yeah, I think so. Like you have covered it very this in depth only. Kunal, do you have any kind of views regarding how do you procure new clients, or what should be your approach, like, or any kind of what is your approach in that sense?
Yeah, I will just add a small point to what Pinky Ma'am said, that we should talk in the whole community itself, that we are more known for the RERA also, and we can try to get associated, or we can try to give more insights to architects or civil engineers who are our clients, so that through them we can get some clients for at least for some other projects, like if there is some extension or maybe for registration. So basically the first point area is architect itself. So as Pinky Ma'am has rightly said that we should collaborate with other professionals. So the architect will be the correct person first to go ahead, or a lawyer also, so that we get into more insights about the new projects which are going to launch, and we can give our insights where there are other regulatory part of Maharera getting associated for that development agreement, or during the initial phase itself.
Just one question which I think so I have for you all. Pinky ma'am, if supposingly like procuring new client, what hesitation normally a new chartered accountant has is कि they are acquiring a client of an already existing chartered accountant. So should we, go with that mindset कि stealing someone else's client, which brings out a negative indication to the CA also, as well as from our guilt conscious also starts developing. So in that kind of scenario, even if you're doing it very ethically, like the client in themselves have approached you, in that kind of scenario, what do you suggest like we should do?
See, I think one way is not all CAs will give all services. Okay, so there is enough out in the in the market for all of us. We have enough work. Okay, but when you are trying, you're not. See, when, for example, I'll just take between me and Kunal sir. Maybe I'm not. Kunal sir is also an expert in RERA. I also, specialize in RERA. I am taking away his client. Yes, my guilt is going to, really hit me. But if Kunal sir is not someone who does RERA, right? And I am taking the client, telling Kunal sir that, sir, this client wants me to give this service. Okay, so I'm going to be giving only this service. I'm not going to take away your income tax or GST that you're doing for this client. It's only RERA. I will do it. And the client will be happy because he's getting some kind of work from an expert who is totally into it.
Like I think so in this context also, like my also this lookout is कि I don't think so any professional as such would if supposingly they are not able to deliver them properly, the client properly regarding RERA like you mentioned, then they'll be happy that some other CA or some other professional is able to give that kind of services. And that kind of camaraderie should be there between both the chartered accountants, because we both are professionals. So we know ki the client, in the end, it's a client only which is there. Some services we have to provide, some service someone else will provide.
Yes.
Yes, Kunal, do you want to add something on that?
We have to give them the confidence that we are not going to take their client. We are only going to provide them specialized services all about RERA.
Of
And
course.
we should also tell them that if there is any more help required for some other projects, we are also happy to provide them that service also. If they are providing that service to some other clients of them, so there also we can improve their own skill set, so that they will also have a confidence that we are not here to take his client. We are just here to provide RERA service itself.
Of course. One more thing I think so is there ki sometimes the client is located in a location like maybe for example Vasai, and I am situated in Andheri. The client also has some difficulties in traveling. We also have difficulties in traveling. Communication over email and phone is possible, of course, but that takes sometimes is a big issue or some misunderstanding can happen. Then at that point in time, I can definitely approach Kunal and just say कि हाँ ऐसा एक client है हमारे पास वसई में, and you can definitely take all the documents or anything and you can give the consultation.
Yes.
So that kind of course partnership we can do.
Yes.
So that is another way, of course, we can do it. Pinky ma'am, if you can, procuring client is, of course, is one thing. That is a new client which we are doing. What do we do for an existing client which is there? Even if we have like one, two, 10, hundreds, in that kind of scenario, how do we maintain a good relation with our existing clients? How do you ensure that a relation is maintained?
Okay. One thing is at every step, okay, if you are able to give some kind of a value addition. Okay. So when I am giving a certificate, let's just not think from it like a data entry work, I mean, client ne kuch de diya, I just punch in, I just did one small few checkings. No, can you go back and tell them that this is where things are not going the right way? Or okay, maybe there is you're tending towards non-compliance, this can something that can come up in the future. Okay, try and keep them updated. Okay, like whatever notifications I think all of us been sharing with each other, tell them this is the mood of the authority, this is where can cause a problem for you. So just keep them updated with whatever is going to come in future and it may affect them, right? So that is one way. Second is, I'm sure all of us, just like any other client delivery services that we give, it's about the timely delivery and the timely advice we are able to give, right? Because a lot of things what we see in RERA right now is there's a lot of ambiguity around so many things or so much changes coming every now and then. One state did something. So just be updated on that so that you can say at some point this is going to come to us as well. So it's about you being updated first and keeping the client updated as well. So that is one way that you can keep them engaged throughout.
Yes, Kunal, your views on that regard, ki how do you maintain a good client relation? Like, how do you ensure as a professional ki the existing client which are there, they keep on coming back to you? How do you ensure that?
Rightly said. Like we should make sure that we also learn much knowledge about the RERA. We should not only learn about Maharera, we should also check what all things are happening in other RERA authorities. Like if there is something which is happening in Gujarat, which is which may happen in Maharashtra also. So we should be having all the insights from where there are regulation they can increase. The RERA authorities can increase the compliance level. So we should slowly and gradually educate our clients that see these are the regulatory which may come in the near future. So you have to be very updated. So if we tell them that see Gujarat RERA there are photographs which are to be uploaded on the RERA website about the progress completion. So he feels that you are in the more knowledge oriented and you know what is happening in all over India. Maybe not all over India, but in the adjoining states at least. So it gives you an additional advantage. Whenever you are talking to a client, you let them know what all things are happening in RERA also. Whenever you are issuing Form 3, try to give them some insights regarding what has happened in this particular quarter, or any orders or circulars are issued which are going to hamper for the new projects or the existing projects. We have to make them guide about the same. And while doing some QPR or compliance part, we should check where they are going wrong. Like Pinky Ma'am has rightly said, ki if they are going somewhere wrong, we should help them out, or we should at least let them know ki what we can do for not compliance penalty. The RERA authorities should not implicate on the our clients. So we should make main thing is knowledge sharing in this whole RERA, because builders are not much. They are educated, but they don't want to go into compliance level. So we have to make sure कि RERA is not a burden on them. What happens? Builder comes with a complaint. RERA is a burden on them. We should always tell our clients that RERA is never a burden. It is a good marketing technology platform where they can sell their products online itself. You just have to give them RERA number, barcode scanner in advertisement forms. So the clients also get a confidence that RERA is a good product for them, a marketing platform for them.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Pinky, you want to add? Yes.
Just to add 2 points to the previous question about chartered accountants, sharing their clients.
Mm-hmm.
The best part on RERA is you see the kind of services that we have to give. There is Form 3 and Form 5. So the quarterly updates and the annual.
Annual update.
Okay, so in Karnataka, we say Form 4 and Form 7, right? So both of these certificates cannot be given by the same chartered accountant. So you see, there is work for 2 chartered accountants in one project, right? So you can always say that, I will do one certification, the other chartered accountant can do the other service. So the person who is referred only maybe is the statutory auditor of that particular builder. So Form 3 can be done by one person, and the auditor will also retain his client and also have his work also. That's number one. Second, lot of people, you can only expertise also in a particular state. Okay, like someone knows that an next person is practicing in say Orissa, for example. There's always a reference coming from another state also. So there's a lot of references that we can give each other across the states. So that's an opportunity that we can all help each other.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, like you mentioned, just one more this question which I have is if supposingly just one more point which I wanted to add to Kunal's point is that like you mentioned to updating the new circulars, new orders which has come. Like recently, the order number 56 which came regarding the new banking system, new bank account opening. There was a lot of disparity, a lot of confusion among the developers as well as the professionals. In that kind of scenario, what we can do as a new entrant also, we can study the whole circular properly. We can write small articles. We can give small lecture about this whole thing. And with that, we get a first mover advantage also. Because this kind of situation, this kind of banking update is effective from project register after the 1st of July. So new clients which are getting registered, new projects which are getting registered, you can implement the bank order circular also properly. So this will give a confidence to the client also that you know the subject properly, the new orders and circulars also you know how to implement properly. And this will just leverage you also to understand the whole RERA also properly. Yeah, I think so. We have understood more regarding how to maintain also. Pinky ma'am, if you can just how like you also must be having a team of employees working with you, juniors also working with you. How do you ensure in that kind of environment that the timelines which is there, because that's like you had also mentioned, the timelines have to be adhered to, so that timely completion of the registration is done, updates are done properly, regularly within the due dates, and other things are ensured that a timely updation is done to the client. How do you ensure in the team that everything is properly done, and how do you monitor it as such?
Okay, so something which is a regular work, like our quarterly updates, the timelines don't change much because I know, on a certain date when the quarterly updates have to go. So this is the date that we fix and we work backwards. And then we say, by when should I get the details from the client? And what is the timeline that I have to keep to complete my work? So the team works on that. And then when do I sit to review and work with the team, and then the delivery happens to the client, right? So it's always about knowing that what is that deadline and then work backwards. And of course, we also have to take care of what is the clients, how do they operate, when do they close their books of account, right? So that also has to be kept in mind. And then you internally work on your timelines, prioritize your clients as well. Sometimes, this client is quite big, takes more time of yours, then you allocate your resources and your time first there. Okay. So it's not just prioritizing the work, but prioritizing your clients as well. Okay. So that is one thing that we take care of. Second is when it comes to registration. See, registration, what happens is there is no fixed timeline from a statute perspective because it is about when the client comes and when all the documents are accumulated and when are you ready for upload. All right. So that is more of an internal, timelines that you have to again set. But it also has a lot of external factors also, whether that particular document is available or not, because there are other professionals involved. So have they also done their bit, right? So team, how we all work is we all know our part, what has to first, so there's one person who will talk to the client, get all the data accumulation happens. And then we internally do one round of review, checking. And again, this back and forth with client is going to happen at times, but it's also important that somehow you get your team also to be as passionate as you are when it comes to RERA. Otherwise, that flow will not be there.
Kunal, would you like to add something on this point? Like regarding this internally, how do you in your firm and company, how do you ensure that all the people are, like Miguel said, passionate towards RERA, but how do you ensure basically how the timelines are properly met, and what kind of policies do you have internally to ensure that all the client expectation are properly met?
Okay, see, basically, this is bifurcated into two parts. Like for QPR, we require Form 1 from architect, and this Form 2 is from structural engineer. And for Form 3 also, we require data from their accounts team. Okay, so basically, Form 1 and Form 2 is majorly covered by architect and structural engineer. That takes the major time consuming effort from getting those forms from them. Okay, so first thing is that. So the client, we try to make sure we start follow up before the quarter ends. We start 5 days before. Sir, we have to get this form so that at least whenever we are uploading, having the information in our hand, till that time the quarter gets ended, and we also have the data ready with us so that we can file the quarterly QPR before 20th of particular quarter. So for that, we start doing from like 5 days before itself is getting data from the clients, and we also tell them ki try to get the information as soon as possible so that we can gather the information and check it out whether the information gathered is proper or not, because we have to reconcile all the information with maybe GSTR 2A. Every information has to be checked, so it's very difficult for also for our staff to get this information, synchronize the same, and then issue certain forms. Like Form 3 has to be again cross verified with the disclosure of sold and unsold booking, sold flats. So that has to be also correlated. Every document has to be verified, and then we have to issue Form 3, and the later part is disclosure of sold and unsold inventory. If the client is taking that part, then we have to just verify those two documents whether they are correct or not.
Of course, I think so. Yes, you have explained properly that while the QPR, we should ensure that the due date and PKM also said like we work backwards, setting the knowing that the due date is on suppose for example 20th of the after the quarter end, then we can just work backward maybe 5 to 7 days and then send a reminder to the client that the deadline is coming in the next 1 week or so. Just ensure that you give us all the documents and everything whatever is required, and based on that we can proceed so that the deadlines are met. One more thing which I want to point out is कि Maharera or I think so across all the states as of now they have not started implementing the deadlines as such very hard and fast. They are not imposing penalties if supposing you file the QPR on 21st or 22nd of July or something like that. As of now, at least in Maharashtra, it has not been done. So right now also if supposingly because the quarter has ended in June, there is still time, there will be a lot of promoters and a lot of developers who might have not filed the QPR. So again, we can also send them a reminder, from our end only that this is the quarter which has ended. It has already breached the deadline date also. And now also because penalty has not been imposed, it is better we, file the QPR form 3 timely so that unnecessary blockage or freezing of bank accounts or anything does not happen. So that way also we can ensure that the client is also in touch, continuous touch, and they are also know that we also are interested in giving the proper services.
So one other thing is when someone comes to you after registrations, right? So one thing that we can actually do is also do a due diligence of what has already been, uploaded on the portal. So what we also do is we first go and check everything if the data is correct, not correct, and suppose even the end date, the project end date is correct or not, and try and talk to the, the builder and say, is it very realistic of this end date that you have spoken about? Because they say, probably the work is going to take a longer time. So we tell them well in advance that, see, yours is going to be a lapsed project if you're not going to complete it. So a due diligence and informing them well in advance really, saves them with a lot of these kind of penalties.
Of course. Now that we've understood about this part, if you can just share some, how, like when we are, reaching out to clients or prospective clients, what kind of quotations or how do you have the quotation format and anything? If you have it you in hand right now, if you can just share one quotation format and the scope of work, or how do you as an individual send it to the client so that they are also aware of what the work is to be done. And if supposing we are doing something out of scope, then we ensure that that is also billed separately or anything like that, any other additional services. Yeah.
So what I am going to show now is generally what I follow is just a simple scope of work is first sent, okay, where I put the scope of work and the proposed fee. Once they give a confirmation, then there's an engagement letter that is done with other terms, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm going to combine both in one
Sure.
document, and I'm going to share that. So this is what we do. This is an engagement letter format. So we just basically give a background about the client, or just say the client has approached us to give certain services, the services of which is I'm going to list it out in a separate annexure. So that's the scope of work in the fee. What is our scope of work? We say that, that it is given in a particular annexure. Any other additional services, we are going to separately agree upon for a different fee, or it's going to be in continuation to this engagement letter. Okay. So, and then the fee will also be mentioned in the same annexure against this the scope of work. Right now, I have the scope of work only for registration. Maybe a similar thing you can follow for QPR and all, or probably Kunal sir can help us add to that. And any other terms like, because see, you're going to be having a lot of legal documents with you. So confidentiality is also very important, right? Of course, once things go into RERA portal, we know the transparency and all of that, but at least this particular point of confidentiality and privacy, I think you need to have it as a part of your terms, right? And if you have anything else that you're going to do, any out-of-pocket expenses, you want to make sure that that is also covered, you can put that point as well. And also about the timelines as to when you would want, that fee payment basically, whether you want to take in advance or do you want to take it at the time of completion of the work. So that is also another terms that you can put based on how, what kind of a relationship with you have, with the client, right? So that you will be the best person to judge it. So basis that you can have your payment terms in place, right? And then it gets signed off from both the parties. So generally, this is the scope of work we have when it comes to registration, right? So maybe you list out all the activities that you will be doing or assisting the client with so that he knows how much of efforts are there from your side. And it will also substantiate the fee that you are quoting, right? Now, if I just say that I'm going to help you in registration and I'm going to quote an X amount, he'll either think it is way too much, but he won't know the background of how much work goes in, right? So unless you elaborate and you tell him, so there is so much that I'm going to be doing, not just you give documents and I upload. It's not that, right? So my work goes beyond. So you'll have to list it out as to what are all the work you do. So for example, one is you say you first initially give out a checklist, okay? And then you start collating. Trust me, the client is not going to give you in one go. Okay, so there will be at least 10-15 times the to and fro saying, so this is not matching, this is not what I asked for, you're not giving me this document. So a lot of to and fro for them to even understand what you are expecting. And another, when it comes to legal document, it varies from, the municipal body to, to another body, which is very adjacent, right? It is very, very state specific. It's very, very, geographically, very local. So
Even district specific, like in Maharashtra itself, in Mumbai there's BMC. If you go to Pune, there is PMC. Other municipal corporations are there across Maharashtra itself.
correct, correct. So your adjoining district will be following something else and you would be following something else if you're, so for them to understand what you are asking is also going to be a bit of a challenge, right? So you first start with collation of the documents and all the details. So these details could start with right from the promoter details. What type of an entity he is? Is he a LLP, company, or proprietor? So right from there, you will have to start collating all the details, right? Then project related details. So first we'll try and understand, is he into group housing or is he into apartments or plotting? So all of these things you'll have to start understanding, right? So you will get those details, all the kinds of sanctions, approvals, legal documents. So after collation, you will also have to do one round of vetting. That is where your value addition comes, right? So let's just not be this person who just accumulates data and upload it. Vet the documents, saying that, probably a legal opinion is given. Let's read through the legal opinion and get an understanding of the background of the project and the land details and all of that. So vetting of the documents that has already been given to you. You can probably help them with all the affidavits also that needs to be given, right? I think even in Maharera, you will have to give certain affidavits, right? Like Form B and things like that, right? So you can help them because it's in a legal language. So maybe they don't have a team which will help them put it across in a legal language. So all the kind of drafts and agreements, so there's a model agreement for sale. So how do you customize it or have it for this particular project, right? So that is another thing that you can do. And what's another important thing that you can do is assistance in estimating the project cost. Okay, this project cost is very important, not just for registration, but till the time the project is there, right? Because all your penalties is based on the project cost, right? And your progress in the, when you say percentage of completion, that is again dependent on your estimation cost. So you will have to work with the, developers to come up with this budget, right? How realistically can you take the land cost? How realistically can you work out around the construction cost? So when we say construction cost, it's just not what the labor and the material that goes into it, right? There's a lot of consulting fee that goes into it, the overhead costs, the interest cost. So all of this, you have to sit with the builder and explain this to him and get his, the project estimate. So that is another thing that you can put it in the scope of work. And of course, submission to the RERA on the RERA portal. I put Karnataka here, Maharashtra, whichever state, so you can probably go ahead. Any other service, please go ahead, charge separately if you think it is beyond what you are doing, because each client who is going to come to you is going to be very different. One client may have a very good in-house team, they'll have a legal team, they'll have a good customer relation management team, technical team. So your work may not be this much. Okay, but some are very raw. They will not know anything. They'll say, madam, we'll give you, you do everything. So your work will increase there. It could also be preparing the books of accounts for the past 3 years. So you'll have to assess how much work is there and then give a quote. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. One more thing I would like to add. Even Kunal, you can also add certain points in this whole document. One thing, like you mentioned about the fee payment structure, we can of course break it out. Supposedly we are charging 1 lakh rupees, for example. In that, we can just say that 50% of it has to be advance, 25% before submission, and 25% after submission. This just ensures that we are also properly paid, and there is no unnecessary delay in the payment also. And at least whatever our team is there or anything, that there is not any unnecessary delay in payment also. Kunal, do you want to add certain points in the scope of work or anything which you also put in your kind of scope of work?
Yeah, the scope of work is nicely prepared by Pinky ma'am. We specially write it down all the points, even the other services which we will provide them after the registration. Also, we include the same. Like we provide for QPR also, we provide the quotation on the day one itself if they approve, so that it's easy for us to not to keep on adding the documents for reference later on. So it is better to put QPRs, form 5 fees, and every other details how we will communicate with them. And there is a major challenge that there are lots of like partners. For like if there are five partners will follow. So we try to make them we create a group, or we can create some group, and we can only post about the updates about the whole project. Or what happens, there are follow from all the five partners, so there is a single communication person from whom we should communicate for all the documentation, and even for about the rare updates we have to provide them. So basically, and we have to also verify these documents. Maybe that is on the later end, but we should make sure ki we should tell them these are the forms which are available on Marera website, and that has to be referred by your consultant for issuing the same, because lots of queries get propped up in the other forms. Like if the legal title is report is not given in the format as prescribed under Marera, we have a query regarding the same. So we should try to give them pre formats, so that it's easy for them also to correlate and provide those documents in a better way.
Now in the chat box, there are few questions which the participants have asked. They're more, I think, so specific towards Maharashtra only. So before we jump to those questions, one more question which Nitin Kher sir has asked Pinky ma'am is, now that of course we have understood the quotation format and everything, the major question, I think so, a lot of other experts have already answered it in previous sessions. But what is the kind of range which we should give to the client? Because in the end it's about the money only which we are going to receive for our services. And of course, in each state, each kind of professional, if you're starting new, the amount which you charge is different. Once you have experience of more than 50, 60 filing, then you might charge something else. In Karnataka it might be something else, in Maharashtra something else. If you are filing it in Orissa or something like that, it's a very smaller state. When few professionals are working, maybe you can charge more less depending on the developer size. Again, how do you define the range or estimate of quotation?
Okay, so when it comes to registration, okay, so like especially in Karnataka, we have this problem with the survey numbers. So more survey numbers, more work. Okay, so that'll be my first question that I ask anybody. How much survey numbers you have? Because sometimes it's a big land, but one survey number, so my work is not much.
Not easy.
Okay, so but sometimes it's a smaller land, but small survey numbers, the work is more there. So what I'm trying to say is you need to assess it based on how much of your time and efforts are there. See, one thing is you need to have your base price. Okay, how much of a big, small, this base price, I'm not going to go below this. So that is something I think that base price also you'll have to keep other factors in mind, right? So
Like it's like basically if supposingly everything is clean and everything is proper, it's just one shot uploading, every document has come. Still, this is the minimum amount which I'll be charging for my time and efforts.
exactly. So
And
this is
then after that, whatever is there. Yes, give me
correct. So you should have your base price, that is important. Now the maximum has no limit, because it is how big the project is and all. You'll also have to know is how much of your involvement is there, as I said earlier, right? Like, are you helping the client even draft a affidavit? That means there's a time involved there, right? It's an effort involved because you have to see multiple documents, pull out the details from all the documents. One affidavit will have like say promoter name, his father's name, his age, everything you'll have to start putting it out, right? That means you're referring so many documents. So that's a time involved. Second could also be the number of units, because that number of units will have that much amount of work. So even in QPR for that matter, right, you will also have to give each unit's details, its agreement, whether done, not done. So that basis, that only is the quotation that goes.
Yeah, like for example, if in a layout, there are like 7, 8 building which is constructed having 100 floors, 700 details, 700 units you have to put in. So it's not going to happen in 1 day or 2 day. It will take certain amount of time. And then putting the data also properly is another big task. So in that kind of scenario, you can definitely charge more because of the time and efforts you're putting in.
Correct.
And if it's like a simple kind of a layout wherein there's a single promoter who is constructing only just one building of maybe 7, 8 floors having just 14, 15 units, then it's comparatively easier also. In that kind of scenario, you can definitely charge the minimum quotation which you want.
Correct.
Yes. Kunal, just the question which are been asked in the chat box. This is little bit away from our topic, but still, it has been asked. So I'll just ask it to you. Is if supposingly in a form 3 which we have already uploaded, due to some reason the GSTR 2A or something, there's a change in the sold and unsold inventory. Can we update or change the form 3 which we have updated already?
See, we cannot change the form 3 which we have uploaded because we have already generated UDINs and we have certified the same. So what we can do is in the next form 3, we can rectify those errors and we can complete we can update the form 3 in the next quarter. So
Of
that will
course.
be the best option. If there are more withdrawals, you can put a disclaimer in the next form 3 that there were some errors which have been rectified in this current form 3, and if that can be commented in your form 3.
Yes. One more question which has been asked is, if the building has received part OC and expiry date of the project is, say, for example, 31st December, for
Okay.
extra floor being built for which OC is not received.
Yes.
Then whether if extension is not received, like if after 31st December there is no extension, then whether the occupied floor they need to vacate, or what does the builder have to do in that kind of scenario?
See, builder has to first apply for the extension of the project. Under section 7.1, he can easily apply and he can get by submitting all the requisite documents, he can get a 1 year extension for the completion of the work. Okay, under section 7.1, he can do it for a 1 year. And if he requires extension for more than 1 year, he has to obtain the consent from all the 51% consent will be required from the new allottees for extension of the project, and they can take extension for like for 2 years or 3 years, depending upon the time frame which is required. But before that, they have to submit all the requisite documents which are pending on MARERA website, and then only the RERA authority will provide them these extended dates. So maybe the question is like the other occupant will not be vacated.
Yeah,
Maybe because the part OC is already received for the same. For the other part, the builder has to apply for the extension part.
of course.
I hope it is answered to that much.
Yeah, I think so. You have answered it. The question regarding the range of fees, his question is regarding what is the quantification of the fees. Of course, see, I don't want to give it to you ki what to do. I think so. In the last session also, it's they're available on the YouTube also. Prabhu sir had made it very clear, and he's very open about it. Ki what we charge from our associate, I'll just be very frank and open. Ki we on a quarterly kind of compliances, we charge around 15,000 rupees per quarter in filing the form 3. And in the registration, of course, it ranges from 75,000 to 1,50,000, 2 lakh, 3 lakh also, depending on the project size. So again, like we have a minimum range of maybe 50,000, 75,000, depending on, of course, it also depends on the client relation also how it is. If supposingly it is a client you know is going to come back again and again and again, then just charging much more in the introductory stage does not make sense. In that kind of scenario, you can definitely charge lesser in the registration part, and then maybe when ki there will be a lot of queries which the client will have, then in those kind of services you can definitely compensate your cost of whatever it is. So that kind of understanding also you should have. So it again depends on person to person. If you're starting like me also, when I started with 30,000, 40,000 registration charges also. But then of course, due to projects, uh, bigger projects which came up, even Prabhu sir told me that you should charge more. In 30,000, 40,000, the amount of efforts and time you're putting it does not make sense. Then accordingly you have to adjust and change also.
I will add something. just see, basically, the base price should not get reduced. Slowly and gradually, after getting maybe 10 registrations, you can increase your fees. Always keep on increasing your fees so that your availability and you are not occupied with smaller clients who are not paying you fees, and you are not being able to get the new clients also. Your whole cash flow will get affected. So it is better you start with your base fees or something, and later on you can keep on adding whatever you require, you think the whole market is charging. So maybe we will be charging lesser today. We cannot say the exact amount, but we will have to make sure we are charging very fair amount, so that we are also able to have our own principles where we do not charge a less amount and we are doing some undercutting practice. We
Exactly.
should charge very good amount so that we are able to give them the proper services and timely services, so that we are also giving them the fair opportunity.
Like if supposingly you are charging also maybe 3 lakh 4 lakh for registration, if you are able to provide the all the you are able to meet all the expectation of the client, then the client will also be more than happy to
Yes, yes,
give that amount. He's a developer, he's in the end constructing a building. Of course, this expense like 2 to 3 lakhs will be very meager amount for him.
yes,
But again, to give him that amount, he'll try to negotiate also. But you should be empowered yourself and to make him understand that you are actually worth that much, and that is the kind of services which you will be giving. If you are able to give that amount of confidence, then I don't think so there is any other doubt in that. There is one more question which is there. Like one more problem which the new chartered accountants or any kind of CAs which they face is conversion from the quotation stage to actual client stage. What happens is usually people come to us, they consult us, we tell them ki, this is the fees, this is the scope of work, everything we say. But then in the end they go to some other CAs or other people only, and then maybe they might be charging a little bit lesser, like Kunal also said, undercutting is there or something like that, due to which the client loses out. In that kind of scenario, how do we ensure that the client is get converted into a actual client, from a customer to a client? How do we ensure, how can we tackle that part?
So just today, there was coincidentally there was one meeting that I had today. Okay, so this client came thinking that he just asked me some questions on registration and then probably see whether he would want to take our services or not. So I think the conversation went on to GST, income tax, accounting. So these are all the value inputs that you start giving. I know you will feel I'm spending a lot of time with a client in the first meeting, but it's okay to, because you have to showcase your expertise. You just cannot say, sir, you give me documents, I will do registration. The client is not going to come to you because there's so many people in the market who will do that. For that, they don't even have to be a professional to do uploading on to the portal, right? So you will have to show where is that you can make a difference. So at the end of the conversation, we just had a 1 hour meeting and he said, Madam, honestly, before this, I've met another chartered accountant. We asked a similar questions. We had a similar discussion, but they did not tell us all this that you are telling us today. So that is where I think they will convert. See, whether they come, not come, but at least you've left a mark. Okay.
Yeah.
At least in the next project, he'll say, okay, I went to this person, he didn't do a good job. Maybe I should have gone back. So today or tomorrow, somewhere this client will just come back to you. So it's all about showcasing your expertise. So
Of
that
course.
is the first barrier that you can break. And second is, I know you will want to quote very less to make sure that the client stays with you. Like you'll say, if I quote too much, this client might just go away, right? So, but it's okay confidently when you quote and say, so why am I quoting this? Because I'm going to stay with you for all this work that I am doing. So that confidence, if you give, they will come.
I think so. We have with us Vinay Tyagraj sir also. If you can just give a brief about how to, approach clients and all, and how do you take forward the subject? Like, for example, if the new clients are there, how do you approach them? I said, because you have been in the field in so long, you're also practicing in Karnataka. So if you can give an insights if you're available.
How do we present to the client? How do we approach the client? Okay. First thing is important is, if I have a knowledge on RERA, knowledge in the sense like a reasonable knowledge on RERA and about the services, what services I can give to the client. That is the first point. First point. Many of a time I see that professionals, they take the service thinking that it's just a filing services. It is not a filling and filing services. The services are beyond that. one should know about RERA. That is the first primary requirement for somebody to approach a client and take the services on the client. I can say confidently about 50% of the professionals who take the services, they may not able to do it, then they approach other professionals who is doing the service. That is the first aspect. If you know the subject, probably you should showcase it. How do you showcase to the builders or the industry itself? Many a time, you as a profession itself restrict ourselves about the advertisement, marketing, or whatever you call it as. So how do I showcase it? That I know this subject, I know this topic. Probably you can circulate and inform to very close circle, like if anything required in this, you can approach me, or write some small note about any of the amendment, any of the new notification, any of the new circular, or write one definition about a promoter. Did you know? Put that. Did you know something? Okay. Below that, you put your name and your phone number. If you have any clarification, nicely mention that you can reach out to me. Make it a habit to identify some of the important aspect. Maybe weekly once you can send it to the database which you have. So that is a one way to share and also say that I know. That is the second thing. Third, people do recognize that you are the uh, subject matter expert when you start presenting at the larger forum. It may be 10 chartered accountant, 20 chartered accountant, 50. Not only chartered accountant, look at that how you can present this to the architects, engineers, or the home buyers, or if you are living in an apartment complex. One fine day you call to your own people. I'm sure that they all would be interested to know about this subject. Okay. And probably to attract that, you use some of the jargons, like say an example, like if you're just moved into a new apartment, or somebody who are moving into the apartment, the must things to know before you purchase an apartment. Don't mention even the RERA also. Okay. So something which you can make it. And also further you can say that you can protect it if you know these points. So these are the something which you can do yourself to say that I know something better than you. Obviously, the moment you started talking in the public forum or a dais, probably people who are sitting and listening are knowing lesser than you. Okay. So these are all the few aspects which you keep it in the mind and start growing the business. More than anything, one should have a commitment that I wanted to do this area of practice. You should have some time dedicated for this to make it. All are busy, right? You tell me that who is not busy? We're all busy with, always I say that we are all like become like a Ola or Uber driver. Today I get 500 rupees, 5,000, 50,000, 5 lakh rupees. I'm happy. Collect it and close my account today. I'm not putting an effort to become a bigger than the Ola or Uber. I'm not intending to take day and day to basis. Let me wait for 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. I'll get a bigger amount. So the moment if we take out that I'm just using very lucidly, please don't offend with whatever be the words I'm using it. The professionals have become like that. Today I'm very easy to file my GST return for 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 rupees. I'm filing it. Tomorrow what will happen? A client of you brings one more client for 2,000 rupees only. He will not go and bring your RERA client. So end of 3 months, you will have only with the clients of that rate of 2,000 rupees. Then you do not have a time to spend on RERA or any other practice. I'm not, you're called for RERA, I'm talking about RERA. If you are FEMA, it is a FEMA. If it is labor, labor. So you should have clear cut info understanding that this is the time I dedicate. I wanted to practice on RERA, and it's a serious subject and also a serious topic and serious area of practice. And if you read section 59 onwards, it's a penalty classes. One client levy with one penalty is off. Client say you pay the money, you pay the penalty. I don't know. Okay, so that is the impact of it. Second, the way that you do the real estate business is very important. If you do not understand the property related laws, very difficult to advise the clients. Probably small and medium clients, you advise it. Somebody comes with a little difficult case. For that, you should know various property laws, how it impacts. And most of the time, we chartered accountant look at only the taxation point of view. Tax is the outcome of your profit. Okay, and always look at that. How do you protect the project, not the promoter? Imagine project is very important, not the promoter. If I protect a project, promoter will be there. If you're trying to protect the promoter, leaving the project, then everything will have, like even the allottees will be a problem, builder will be a problem, stakeholders will be a problem. So project is important rather than a promoter always. Look at that. Because see, I'm not telling that leave the promoter, but what you're advising on the RERA, advice on the RERA is always on a project wise, not a promoter wise. He maybe require some emergency funds and money available in project A. So ensure that that project is protected at all point of time, not is requirement of emergency funds for some other requirement. Sir, TDS notice has come. Just it's a matter of time of 1 month, sir. I will take showing excess withdrawal or sorry, excess percentage of completion. And by the time I will sell another 3-4 units, sir, another 2 more construction I can do percentage, I will allow to withdraw. Please allow me to withdraw. Don't do that. Because then what you are impacting is a project and you are allowing promoter to do whatever he want to do it. Okay. And very, very important finally is compliances are very important because the success of a promoter depends on the success of the project. You should be like handhold him and say that because this industry generally from a smallest to the largest, they neglect this RERA. And always I say that now also I am here to train 50 officers of income tax, ranking from assistant commissioner to additional commissioners in Mumbai. Okay, in a NADT. So what I'm trying to tell you is in terms of the acceptance of this act, acceptance of this regulation, RERA itself is very less. A smallest promoter also crib, a largest India's highest builders, they talk, but when it comes to the compliance, they also crib. Okay. So we should be very firm on what RERA talks about, what is RERA required. Beyond that, pass on the risk to him. So these are all my experience and my input. Somebody wanted to take it as a practice. It's a very serious practice. I invite everybody, even if you leave all your present practices, whatever you're billing, GST, income tax, that, this, if you leave all the practices, if you start freshly on RERA, 1 year is sufficient to reach out your present practice revenue. That only I can assure.
Yes.
But somebody should get out from that and board on a new train called RERA.
Of course. I think so. Thank you, Vinay sir, for taking out time and just explaining the whole thing. Pinky ma'am also from Karnataka, from your state only, she has also explained the similar kind of way that you start interacting and creating small seminars, having an interactive group with 10-15 people, 10-15 chartered accountants. This will ensure that you keep on, just showing that you are aware of the subject and you are able to provide to the client's expectation also, and you are able to provide what the client requires. There were 2-3 questions which one Miss Pradnya had asked. Pradnya, you can ask me that in the this WhatsApp message. I will answer that question to you because it's a little bit off topic. Mohini Hegde, ma'am, the question which is regarding the number of extension, the one extension under section 6 of the act is given this by default a 1 year extension. But if the promoter wants to have more extensions, there is no limit as such the number of extension he can have. The only thing is he requires 51% consent of the allottees. Once he gets the consent of the allottees, then he can take the extension. So how much allottees are there? Out of that, 51% consent is required. Prabhu sir, if you want to give some insights regarding the new procuring new clients, charging the fees, and how do you approach new clients? How do you convert a customer to a client? Any your insights in this regard?
So thank you very much, Shreyash, Pinky, and Kunal for taking such a wonderful session. And I think you have given a lot of insights. And I was overhearing Vinay, what he has guided you, how to take it forward. I think you follow the guideline of Pinky, Kunal, Shreyash, and Vinay Tyagraj. I think that is the only thing I can say. Yes, I would only end saying you have to have 4A, creating an awareness by way of training, education, literature, and then try to get the appreciation from the clientele by sending an email or some information. So that is a second is appreciation. Third is acceptance. They start accepting you as an expert as you go on sharing the information. And the last is achieving your goal. What is the achieving your goal? To disseminate the information and get the clientele and build your practice, which you can do. So this is a 4A. And as far as area of practice is concerned, you have to say that any law you pick up, look at 5C. What are those 5C? The first C is to look at the consultancy, what area of consultancy you can give under that act. So look at that and try to give the information. Second is compliance. What type of compliance need to be done so that we are able to look at the compliances required. Third is about the complaint redressal system, how the authorities look at the complaints, how it is getting redressed, how is the appellate provisions and various other provisions of the complaint redressal. Fourth is how are the other commercial laws which are affecting commercial and complex laws. You can look into it. And the last is, yes, I think complaint redressal, complex situations, and then our commercial laws and collaboration. How you can collaborate with the other people who are connected with the industry, whether they are maybe doing the same activity like yours, and maybe other people who are facilitating. So look at the collaboration so that networking can be done. With that, thank you very much. And I thank each one of you for being a part of this course. And I think you'll learn a lot in due course of time. Thank you very much.
I think so. Thank you so much, Prabhu sir, also to address the forum which is there and addressing all the participants. Just one before we end, just want to give a vote of thanks to Pinky ma'am. Just taking out time from a busy schedule and addressing the participants and sharing your experience. Of course, it will definitely help all the participants as well as all the new chartered accountants. We'll definitely upload this session on YouTube. And if any kind of questions you all have, you all can definitely reach out to Pinky ma'am. She's there in a WhatsApp group also. And if you all can message me also, and I'll forward it to Pinky ma'am if required. Again, a vote of thanks to Kunal sir also, for always taking out time and being present, always helping out in these kind of sessions. He, with his kind of experience and his kind of background, he's very open to approach also, and he's always available to help out me also. Whenever I have some queries, I definitely reach out to him most of the times. So thank you so much, Kunal sir, also for taking out time.
Thank you. I think this was a very good
Yeah.
opportunity for us as well to interact with all the people who are so enthusiastic about RERA. So thank you, Shreyas. I know we've been saying not today, tomorrow, and finally we've got onto this session. So thank you so much.
And yes, Mahendra Kannadi ji, we have already uploaded all the previous sessions on a YouTube Mahaseva news channel. You can find it there. There's a different playlist altogether for all the recorded sessions. And I'll provide the link also in the WhatsApp group once again. With this, we'll conclude our session today. The next session will be on next Monday. The topics and the Zoom link and everything will be provided in the WhatsApp group. So with this, thank you so much everyone for attending and for participating, and looking forward to your active participation in the next and ongoing sessions also. Have a great day and a great week ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, participants, for being with us and joining this course and taking active part. Similarly, the presenter who has taken enough pain to present the session today, panelists, and the participants who have made it very interactive. I request you, any questions are there, you can always email to us. My email address is rsprabhu13@gmail.com, and if you want, you can send the message on WhatsApp, which of course is in the description box. Still, you can take out the number 9820106766, and you can reach out to us anytime, and any new topic that you want to have a discussion on Prabhu Se Khas Baat or the courses physical or even on Zoom, on any time, on online, we will be very happy to organize that. You can be a presenter, you can be a faculty, you can be organizing part of the organizing committee, you can also learn. All these are open. The purpose is to empower every chartered accountant to enter into new area of practice, new area of profession, so that you are able to build your profession in a better way. Thank you very much.